Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Well, today we are looking at a revised cigar from Ashton. This is the La Aroma de Cuba Edicion Especial, and this is number 3. That's the designation. In their world, that means it's a 6x50. It's a Toro. There's your density. Now, this cigar was actually suggested to me by one of my regular viewers, and I wish I could tell you who it was, but I made a note of that cigar. I didn't make a note who suggested it. If it was you, you can remind me, but I thank you. Now, I did research this, and it is actually a new cigar because it has been reblended slightly. What Ashton says they did was they didn't make any major surgery on it, just upped its game a little bit using the Ecuadorian Havana wrapper from a higher priming is the main difference. The higher priming tobacco tends to be stronger than tobaccos that grow lower on the plant. Well, duh. That's where the La Hero actually comes from, is up there. So they added a new size, number 60, which is 6x60. The Pepin Garcia family is still making these, made this one. I go way back with La Aroma de Cuba, back before Ashton, before Pepin, when it was just a little, I don't know, almost no-name company. But one thing's remained the same, is that little lady there, or pretty much the same look to the band. 5 other sizes, and they're listed on the blog, but at one time they even had a Lancero, but it says it's not part of the regular line. So anyway, I think that's the long and the short of it. I think that's enough. It's Nicaraguan binder and filler, Ecuadorian Havana wrapper. So let's get right to it. The new revamped, shall we say, La Aroma de Cuba Edicion Especial number 3. All right. Let's give it a clip. Okay. We won't need the perfect draw for this one today. I actually used it on another one this morning, though. Keep it around. All right, good draw. The first flavor is somewhat of a cedar, but you know what it reminds me of? The flavors all together remind me of like a applesauce. It's almost like a sweet applesauce flavor. Now, what the flavors actually are that give me that reading is sort of the cedar and some brown sugar. There is a lot of a sour type nutmeg and leather, and they combine to make a sort of an off-kilter sour type leathery nutmeg. There is some black coffee at the base, black pepper at about 7.5. So that's how you start. The flavors do combine to remind me of a thick applesauce, but that doesn't mean it's actually applesauce flavor. But that's how you start. So I'm anxious to see where we go. And that sour type nutmeg it can work for or against you. So let's see how it plays out by the first third. Well, we're here in the first third. Whoop. And the cigar has settled down and it's much nicer now than when it started. There is a little bit of a tangy cedar, nice brown sugar, some very sweet caramel notes. The nutmeg and leather, the nutmeg doesn't have that such an awful, well, shouldn't say it that way, but I'm not a fan of sour nutmeg, but it doesn't have that flavor anymore. The leather is quite manageable. It just makes a nice, everything's flowing. It's a nice mix now. Of course, you have your black coffee base. I guess the one constant is even now the flavors still remind me of like a sweet applesauce, but maybe that's just me. But it's very nice. It's medium bodied, moving up the ladder quickly though. The finish has some leather, nutmeg, and a little brown sugar and cedar. It's really a nice cigar. It starts out a little deceiving. You've got to give it about 5 minutes to settle down. The caramel's coming through nicely. There is caramel on the front end, definitely. But no, this is a very good cigar. I'm glad it was suggested to me. And some of the La Aroma de Cubas have been a little bit too dark. This one is not overly dark. It's actually quite sweet. I like it a lot. As a matter of fact, the first third I rate 94. Let's see what happens, but first third is very good. Into the second third. And you got your same flavor notes, but now, the nutmeg and the leather are rising up, taking away some of the sweetness. Kind of a broken record. We see this a lot. But in this case, it's really not hurting the cigar too bad. I am going to drop the score, but not much. It's still very enjoyable. I would say it's medium to full body. The finish we'll call unchanged. But the rising of the cigar was very sweet to begin with. So really what this did was not get it in balance, but shave off some of that really sweet flavor and get it more in line. I'm 93 for the second third. It's not a bad drop. Still a good cigar. So final third usually makes or breaks a lot of them. So let's see what happens. Well, we're down to the end. So let's wrap it up. Here at the end, you have cedar, some brown sugar, a dash of caramel. The sweeter notes are really dwarfed by the darker notes at this point. The leather, nutmeg, and black coffee are quite prominent. Low grade, full body, finish unchanged. Even though the darker notes rose, surpassing the sweeter notes, the cigar is still pretty good. I will drop the score as you can expect, but I still enjoyed it. It's a good cigar. I'm glad it was suggested. It was well worth reviewing. The final third, I would drop it at 91. Just wasn't quite clicking quite nearly like it was in the first third, or even in the second third. So your overall score, though, is 92.67. So there you go. Not bad at all. The La Aroma de Cuba Edicion Especial number 3. Pretty good cigar. I could recommend it. I think you should try it if you have it. If you have not a partaker of La Aroma de Cuba, you might want to check them out. Check this one out anyway. So there you have it, the La Aroma de Cuba Edicion Especial number 3, 92.67.